It is that time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Mahala Monday. It is absolutely wonderful to have you along. As per usual, there she is, Rhoda, everybody.
Good morning, and there's Dougal, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the 1st of March.
Yeah.
Yeah, March Madness.
1st of March.
1st of March.
First day of autumn.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, sadly so. Autumn.
Okay.
Autumn. Which actually brings me to maybe what we're going to be talking about today. But firstly, it is just brilliant having you with us. Yes, 1st of March it is. And of course, as you know, we are live on YouTube at Nickay Productions, as well as live on Facebook at Nickay Productions. And always, this is an interactive show. So we're looking forward to your questions and to your comments. Now, let's get back to why I say autumn. Autumn is the change of season. Yeah. As we know, okay? Yeah. But also, it means, and I'm trying to think of it, because I just thought of it now, it's all happening now.
It's happening now.
So I'm just trying to think of it. Sometimes it's the change, the challenges, things are moving along, and how do you adapt?
There we go. So true. And I'm well done, Dougal. I'm
and it makes no sense, right?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that one out, but I thought, let me have your back on this one, because, you know, you're putting us right there on the spot. But you know, it's like, for me, it's like the same with the president last night. As changes, we're on level 1. So time to move on, changes. You know, autumn, 1st of March, you know, we're going to do some changes and go forward as businesses and hope that everything starts opening up and life starts not necessarily being normal as yet, but like you say, changes, 1st of March, autumns. Change.
I like the way that you got my back.
There we go.
I like the way you got my back. But yes, so for the past couple of days, all we've heard last week, we had the budget. And of course, yeah, it is all about changes. And we live in unprecedented times, as you all know. And financial difficulties and financial challenges has been definitely the order of the business for the last calendar year and ahead of that. So when it comes to getting sound financial advice, and even if you're an existing business or you're a startup or you're a budding entrepreneur and you really, this is the route I want to go, what do I do? And let me just say, we all know when there is a situation as we're experiencing with the pandemic, there is opportunities, and budding entrepreneurs are spotting this. They are seeing it as a special breed of person. And even as an existing business, is how do you morph? How do you gravitate to creating new business? But of course, this is all done on the backbone of solid financial advice and getting your business in order and your house in order, especially when it comes to all the financials and everything else you need to know. And that is where the show goes today, Rhoda. That is right. What we're talking about.
That is right, Dougal. And like you have said, that there's a lot of businesses or people that's actually now having to start their own little thing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are unemployed, they've been retrenched, they're sitting at home. What do I do? You know, and a lot of them do not have that information of business sense because they've been working for about 15, 20 years. And now all of a sudden they're having to start their own little thing. You know? So this is the challenges and the questions at the end of the day.
It certainly is interesting. So whatever your side hustle is or your business and you need that solid financial advice, but also what do you do? How do you do all the compliance and everything else? Then here at Mahala Monday, that's exactly what we do. We're bringing the experts, and who better to talk to then this morning than Rushaan Toefy from Rushaan Toefy Financial Services. So she's joining us live on Mahala Monday today. Rushaan, greetings, good morning. It is so nice to have you with us, and thank you very much for coming on.
Morning, guys. Oh, I love your spirit, and thank you for having me.
No, we like your spirit because it's because of you. That's where we have this. Because, you know, as we just pointed out, as businesses, budding entrepreneurs, where do you start? Financial advice, what to do? These are pertinent questions. And as Rhoda always tells me, it's putting the information out there. And when she said that, she said, we need to speak to Rushaan. And that is it. So yeah, it is brilliant having you along. And of course, as you know, it is we're broadcasting live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. The details to definitely interact with us and Rushaan. Any questions or comments that you have, please just prompt the details at the bottom of the screen at Nickay Productions. You will see it there. We look forward to your questions and to your comments. But once again, from my side, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Rushaan and our viewers.
That's right. So Rushaan, I think we're going to jump straight into this because we've experienced in the show that if we don't get down to the nitty-gritties, time runs out. So let's get straight into it. The question that basically everybody will say is, I want to start my own little thing. What is my first step?
I think that like, in your introduction, you were saying side hustle, new business. Side hustle and new business is two different things. And when you are sitting with a question about how do I start this thing, you need to say, what's your intention about it? Is it always going to be a side hustle, or is it something that you actually want to build into something bigger, employ people and those kind of things? The rules are very different for the two intentions. So it's very important for any small business to just decide what is it that they want to do with the decision to start a small business, and that would then inform what the next step should be.
And,
Wow.
and Rushaan, if we look at it, if we just break it down to people who, and let me just give you a random example here. People who do arts and crafts, and they will go to the weekend flea market. And eventually, I mean, they've been doing it for quite a while. Can I tag that or define that then as a side hustle? Or once it gets to the extent is like, now all of a sudden I need to employ people so we can actually keep up with demands, because there is such a huge demand now, and of course supply issues, and now it becomes a business. Is that now the differentiation that you're trying to?
It is definitely the differentiation. The one is just you practicing your craft, and the other one is you are creating business. In either way, the rules are similar but different. So I think that when viewers are posing questions, it's important to establish where they are, which side of the spectrum they are sitting at, because my response to them would be slightly different. It would be like tailor-made to where they are at the moment. That is my comment on that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, you kind of got it, because also as opposed to a business, because I want to differentiate to a business that is existing, any size of organization, whether it's a small, medium enterprise, and also somebody who's just starting out, who's even gone as far, or was even as far as just the idea and getting that first step. So what would you say for somebody who's just starting out, just the idea at the moment? What is your first step? What is the first thing you've got to do?
Let's just assume you want to start a business, and you have this brilliant business idea, and you can see that, oh, I'm definitely going somewhere with this idea. Like, there is a niche in the market. The question is, you need to visualize it. So your visualizing starts with, put a name on it. What is it? Is it ABC trading? Is it dramatic styled? What is the name? If you name it, it also subconsciously does something for you. It kind of gives you that motivation to keep on, because you're now buying into idea of business. You're buying into idea of creating something for yourself. Just starting with a name. Even with that name, you have options. Now what you're going to do with that name? Is it going to be you, Rhoda, that is going to be saying, Rhoda, I'm trading as, give me a company name there quickly.
Nickay.
What's it? Nickay.
Nickay.
Am I going to, is it Rhoda's trading as DK? Or is it going to be a registered company called DK with CIPC, where your name is on their database, where you are PTY Limited? Those are basically your first steps in terms of that name that you are committing to and putting a face on your business. Giving it an identity. That would be your next step.
Yeah, just kind of taking one step back quickly, and especially that side hustle that we talked about earlier. I'm going to come back to you regarding registration and the name. I just want to talk about the side hustle quickly. People that's actually working, that's actually going to work every day, and they kind of do the side hustle. And I think this is quite important for a lot of people out there, that do they need to also be aware of the fact that if there is money coming from their side hustle that's going into their bank accounts, which is where their salaries is going in, it's something they need to be aware of, and you would highlight it to them?
I think that when you do a side hustle, you need to, like with any business, you need to be aware of whether you're going to be profitable in terms of your costing model. How much you're going to make, how much are you going to sell it for versus how much how much is going to cost you. That's the first thing. It needs to make business sense, because business means that you are in it to make a profit. So let's assume that that part is in check. It's important to know that in terms of South African law, whatever profits that you make, you need to declare it to SARS. I know that there's a lot of side hustle people that's like, ish, listen here, whatever. But you need to understand that there is that responsibility on you to know what is happening, so that you can know whether you now need to pay taxes or whether you don't. And according to the way SARS looks at you, they look at you as a whole. They look at you are a source of income to them. And if you have many sources of income, you are still the one person that needs to declare all your sources of income to SARS. And a lot of people makes mistakes by saying, oh, I made 100 now I must pay taxes on it. No, SARS is not saying you must pay taxes on the 100 Rand. SARS is saying, if you made a profit, that profit is subjected to 100 Rand. If you made a loss, then you pay no taxes.
Yeah. You got to get your ducks in a row. So looking back at it, if you are a budding entrepreneur, do you start a company? Do you register a company? Or do you go and trade in your own name?
That is depending on what it is that you are doing, quite honestly. For me, the first thing that you need to know is that when SARS looks at you, because at the end of the day, the question whether you want to go do a sole proprietorship or whether you're doing a business, there's two considerations really. From a tax perspective, what is most tax efficient, and whether you want to actually create a business, whether you want to create something separate from you. So those are the two questions that you really need to answer in answering that question. So if it is from a tax perspective, it's always better to consider a business. Why? Because in a business, as a small business, SARS actually gives you tax concessions. There are two options, tax concessions that SARS gives you as a small business. The one is called turnover tax, and the other one is called small business corporations tax. The effective tax rate of that is tremendously lower than the 28% if you without the tax concessions in place. I mean, you can pay 0% on your profits, and I think that if you're making profits of about 350, the effective rate of tax is about 5% compared to the 28%. This is if you are a business. However, when it comes to the other, you see it now went for a blank. What was it saying?
Oh, if you trade in your own name. So opposed to a business and trading in your own name.
Registering a name, yeah.
So on the other hand, when you are on your own name, you go according to the normal income tax timetable. So if you're earning under at the moment 83,000 Rand, you pay no tax. That is per annum. If you go more than that, then you start ticking 18%, 24%, 30-odd%, 40-odd%. So from a tax perspective, it could not really make sense depending on what kind of profits you're also making.
And Rushaan, just to come in there, so when you talk about these business concessions, is one of the things turnover based? That it will be because your business.
One of them are called turnover tax.
Turnover tax.
All right. And
so
that
it's
is just
based.
No, please.
So it's based on your turnover.
All right, and that is just one of the types of concessions. So there's others as well.
Two.
Okay.
Just two.
I think one of the other very critical questions that always comes in, and I mean, this is what I find even doing business, it's, the VAT. I mean, this is the question that always pops up. And a lot of businesses, they're not 100% sure, do I register for VAT? Don't I register for VAT? And then obviously having to deal with some companies want you to be VAT registered and some actually then they don't want to do business with you if you're not VAT registered. So the big question for a lot of small businesses out there, must I register for VAT,
My simple question is avoid it as far as possible. A reason why, as a VAT vendor, you are engaging with SARS as a VAT vendor. So you have responsibilities towards SARS to levy an additional tax to the people that you do business with, that buys from you. And so that in itself is another admin burden that you're putting on yourself. Further than that, it also drives up your prices. And for small businesses, your market could be very price sensitive. So because you now need to levy that extra 15% on top of your price, you might be driving yourself out of the market. The reason why people volunteers, you can volunteer to register for VAT as well. A lot of times, the reason why people volunteers to register for VAT is because the people that they want to do business with, they force them to be VAT registered so that they can have the benefit of doing business with VAT vendors. And if that is your reason and you foresee that you're going to make a lot of money there, then I would say that is a calculated, yes, go for it.
But as far as possible, try and avoid it.
But no, just try and avoid it. But then there's also the other thing. You can avoid it all you want. But now when your turnover for over 12 months, your sales amount, over 12 months exceeds $1 million.
Yeah.
And you won't know it exceeds $1 million if you're not keeping your records, right?
That is true. That is true.
So if it exceeds $1 million, SARS is saying your choice is the choice to register is no longer yours. You're now obligated to do so.
Yeah. Okay, because that's always been the tricky question. And now I got a blank here.
Yeah.
So, because I was getting excited there.
Yeah, because as Rhoda asked you that, I was going to ask you how does VAT work, but I think you kind of touched on it because that is it. Once again, if you get to a certain amount as a business, as a budding entrepreneur, you get to it, and fingers crossed that you get there ASAP. I would imagine. But I wanna ask you, and just move away from the VAT. I want to get back to. SARS reduced tax offerings to small businesses.
Yeah.
If you could just highlight some of that for me.
So the important thing, the turnover tax one, let's start with that one. The turnover tax one is the intention of SARS giving small businesses the option of turnover tax is to reduce the administration burden for businesses, because all that they need to do if you want to take up the turnover tax is that you just need to give them your bank statement to show your turnover. Finish, admin done, nothing needed.
Wow.
Full stop.
Okay.
Gone.
Yeah. All right.
Whereas if you are doing the normal business, and the other one is small business corporations tax. For small business corporation tax, there needs to be your financial statements. You need to know your records. You need to show SARS how much your income and expenses is, and all those kind of things. A lot of people goes for turnover tax purely because of the administration simplicity of it. Like they can just carry on and they can just give the turnover. However, just stand back for those people. Just stand back for 1 second and think about it. Are you in business to appease SARS, or are you in business to grow your business and thrive? Because I'd love to believe that you are in business not to tick a box with SARS, but because you want to create your own wealth. And as a person in business, you actually need to know your numbers. Whether you're doing turnover tax, SARS doesn't need to see your financial reports, but you need to know your numbers. You need to know how much, whether the expected profits that you are looking to make, are you really making that? Are you invoicing everybody that you're invoicing? Are you getting your money in on time? Are you earning a salary already? There's no money in the bank, but you might be making profits. You might, and without knowing your figures, how are you even going to know the answers to these things? You're
Wow.
only going to be sucking.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is critical what you just said now. And this is something I also, had learned later by not having somebody like you, Rushaan, not holding my hand. Financials, financials, financials. And it comes down to, and this is why I'm saying people need to go to Rushaan, for a company to get this advice, because packages, because I know there is so many packages out there. People are talking all these different packages, accounting packages out there. And you as a small business, you yourself are not very actually wise on which one to use, because like you being a small business, which one do you use? And this is critical, because like you said, you need that information as a small business also to know, am I making a profit? Am I making a loss? Where am I making a profit? Where am I making a loss?
Yeah.
And obviously once your business starts developing and you need to get finances as well, it's critical to have this information, obviously, and not have a stump suck. It needs to be on paper. Am I correct?
Absolutely. And I think that people that lose sight of knowing their numbers, a lot of them fall into the trap of now they want to take out a bond because they need to move into a bigger premises. Personally, for them and their family, because you are small businesses, there are different rules of the bank. They want your if your source of income is from your own business, they want to know your company's history. And they want to know at least 2 years history of your company for them to feel secure that I can do business with this person.
Yeah.
But if you have been doing everything, how are you going to get that right? So yeah, you actually brought up something that comes up a lot in the small business space, is that at the end of the day, you kind of shackle yourself if you don't do and hold yourself accountable to your figures from the start.
That is so
And,
true.
and Rushaan, sorry if I may. So Rhoda touches on packages now. I don't want to. What do we do? What's a package here?
Package?
Is this the kind of financial services that you offer? Would that be
So,
it?
so the intention of packages, I just love the online packages that they have. So thus far, a lot of companies or individuals, they don't like the online platform because they are afraid of security and those kind of things. The mainstream packages, they pride themselves in making sure that the information online that you're doing online is secure. So, and they can be sued if anything happens to your information. So there is a level of security in terms of your protection of your information. But I love the online platform. Why? Especially as an accountant, I love to see what you're doing without even being in your space. I love the fact that you can see what I'm doing without even picking up the phone and say, can you send me something? I just love that part of online platform. In fact, the two of you are in business, say you are in partners. Rhoda, you do the admin, and Dougal,
I do
he is the
nothing.
salesperson.
Sorry.
He is the salesperson. He can log in anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
When he's sitting in bed having his last cup of tea, he can log
That's
on and
so
see
true.
what has Rhoda been up to. I wonder if she raised that invoice. I just love the idea of online accounting packages.
Oh yeah.
And there are many out there, but we primarily use 3.
All right.
And those are each one is fitted. That's basically the same thing. The interface is a little bit different, but I think it is according to, we try and match what you have currently. And because we don't want to reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
we try and advise you on what's the best way forward for you. Yes.
And I just want to ask you this. So I mean, this is just, we're just touching on one little element with Rushaan here this morning, and because we're talking about some of the SARS things and VAT, you touched on that, but these are the services that you can experience from Rushaan Toefy Financial Services, because you will tailor make these packages and give you the right advice, and these are the not to be competing with the Joneses, if I can put it that way, because the services and your requirements will be different from the next business.
Yeah.
And that is basically what you guys do, Rushaan.
Yes, in essence, it's all the same, because knowing your figures follows the same
Yeah.
kind of same kind of thing. You need to create invoices. You need to keep track of your expenses.
Yeah.
But it's more about how you, because each of us sitting in this platform now are different. We have our own strengths and we have our weaknesses. It is about looking at if these are constants and saying, okay, now what is it that you need for you to tap into these necessary things? Is it someone else that needs to do it? Is it you that is best suited to do it? And if you are saying, and if you don't have people around you to support you to tap into what you need as basics, that is where we step in and we say, listen here, we can help you with this, we can help you with that. You can do that part, because a lot of new businesses, they're very budget sensitive. So it is, the tailoring is also about saying, what resources do you currently have? How do you tap into what you need to tap in as a business, and where do we come in?
Yeah. And on that, I just want to ask you a question, and it's just a one word, yes or no. So as a business, bit of profit, do I buy property or go that way, or do I buy a car?
A bit of profit. Phew, to buy property, that's not a bit of profit, that's a hefty profit.
But you'll be leaning towards that.
No. For me, it's again, because at the end of the day, you want to invest your money in something that is going to create a return on your investment for you. If buying a car is going to create a return on investment higher than a property will, for where you are right now, because now it's all about getting the revenue.
Yeah.
If a car is going to get you that return on investment in terms of, if I spend 100 Rand now, I can actually get 100,000 Rand out of that 100 spend.
Yeah.
You know, the return on investment.
Yeah.
So if a property is going to get you there, then so be it. Because you must remember that if you're buying a property for business to make a rental income for yourself, somebody, you put a tenant in there, you're actually acquiring a property and somebody else is paying that property for you. At the end of the day, you have a property, you know. But if you're acquiring that property for yourself, then at the end of the day, there isn't a return on investment necessarily in terms of business. It is just you acquiring wealth. So it's not a straight answer like everything that I've been saying this morning, but if you get what I mean.
No, we definitely on you, and that is why you got to go see Rushaan, man, because this is a conversation we can have. You know, there's so many questions I've got for you now,
So
and we're going to get through them, because I want to know what happens if you owe SARS money. What must I do? I want to know that. Also, got to quickly just check on a comment that we've got from one of our viewers. So, Hubert, what's up, man? Hubert Paulser, greetings. Hello, how are you? Thanks for the comment, man. Hubert says that has become big corporates' excuse for them not to give small businesses sometimes that opportunity. Has almost become an excuse.
Sorry, what becomes an excuse?
That.
Oh, that.
Oh.
Yeah. That the big businesses use that as an excuse not to take the smaller business by the hand sometimes.
Quite honestly, if you pretend you are a big business, right? The fact that you are even engaging with them means that the door is open. The fact that they allowed a conversation with them means the door is open. So it means that from making, for them to benefit as a VAT vendor, they need to do business with VAT vendors to reduce their bill to SARS. Yeah. It is as simple as that. It isn't necessarily, in my mind, an excuse not to deal with you, because they are dealing with you, but they just need you to take the one more step towards closing the deal with them. And I think that is a decision you as an entrepreneur needs to make, whether you are going to put yourself forward to become a VAT vendor for the opportunity to do business or not. And it's not necessarily on the hands of the big businesses where they're forcing you. They're not necessarily forcing you, in my mind. Yeah. They're just trying to do what's best for them as a VAT vendor.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this. I owe SARS money. I can't pay them as a business, as the person. I can't pay the whole thing. I can maybe pay a portion, and I can't really do. What do? I owe them. They want the money. What do I do?
Well, SARS has two avenues for you three avenues actually. Three avenues. The one is get a personal loan and settle the amount, please. Okay, that's the one that SARS would love for you to do. However, SARS actually has two other options for you. They will allow you to apply for them, for you to apply for a period over which you can pay that amount. So if you owe them 1,000 rand, you can say, listen here, I can pay 100 rand, 100 rand a month. Then you can apply and you can go into that arrangement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in many cases where there is no way that you will in the next 5 years be able to afford to pay this amount. SARS also allowed you something called a compromise, where you put on the table to SARS, listen here, I know my debt is 1,000 rand, but I only have 200 rand to pay you. Can we shake on it, please? Give you the 200 rand and we call it a day. SARS, obviously, this is not very easy process for SARS to approve, though. There's a lot of hurdles that you need to get over, your financial statements, cash flow projections, all the time. Sometimes your blood type also, but that is also an option for you where you can say compromise in that way.
Okay, so there are options. It's not the end of the world. Some of them just means a little bit more PT. But at the end of the day, and you touched on it right in the beginning, if you keep your front door clean, as you said, we wouldn't get to this stage, you know what I mean? But there are options. And that is, of course, where Rushaan comes in with all these great financial services. Because I want to tell you, what is really great, and Hubert has actually commented on it, that he says, why risk more than you can afford to lose? And it is vital, and he goes, and it's vitally important for any business to get financial advice to what you are offering. And I completely agree with you, sir.
I completely agree.
It is vitally, and thank you for that as well.
And I think, sorry, Dougal, on that as well, you don't want to mess with SARS. Don't be quiet, don't say anything. Even if it's 100 rand you owe SARS, do not be quiet and sit there, it's only 100 rand. Look at that interest, people. Once it starts climbing and you keep quiet, you end up with 1,000 rand eventually if you're actually just going to sit back and just leave it like that.
If I can just comment there also. That is called you putting your head in the sand. But, SARS makes a lot of money through people like that. Because according to the Tax Administration Act, SARS can penalize you up to 200% depending on what they find you guilty of. Whether it is negligence in your duty to be compliant, whether it is dishonesty, there's different various of penalties SARS can impose on you. So putting your head in the sand is definitely not an option. Communicate. And I think that is also why people like us, like myself, tax practitioners and accountants comes in, where we understand the language, we can assess the situation and say, listen here, SARS is on the wrong tangent here. We need to bring SARS back to what is right. But as an entrepreneur, not knowing these kind of things, you are just going to say, okay, I'll pay it. But having a professional by your side also allows that person to assess whether what SARS is saying is even correct in the first place.
There we go.
And Rushaan, sorry if I may just jump in here. I just want to ask you something, because you said there are negligence. Now, let's assume the taxpayer hasn't done it last year. He didn't do tax returns for the business, for him, for whoever. They didn't do it. But let's make it extreme. Let's put 8, 9, 10 years. Last time he did tax was 2009.
Wow.
And now SARS has been sending you letters for the last 2 years. Please get your house in order. And obviously there might be a fine coming. I don't know how it works. Now you do that, and it just turns out that they might have owed you over that accumulative period that SARS owed you 1,000 rand. But now you owe them 600 rand because you've been too late. Does it mean you do all the business and then you'll get 400 rands?
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
Or
SARS wants.
And also if it means that if you haven't done it for so long, that you lose whatever benefits was for year 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe just the last 2 years out of that decade you'll get?
No, according to SARS, there's this prescription period of in law. There's a prescription period of 3 years where somebody can put claim on something, and after the 3 years, and then you don't have rights to it anymore. So SARS prescription clock starts when you submit your return.
Okay.
Even if you submit
20 years.
2019 today, 2019 period starts today when you are submitting and it has been assessed. That is when the clock starts rolling.
All right. So, but just do it. Do the stuff you need to do. I've got so many questions, and we're getting close to the indie bit
now.
But who's gonna ask the last question? I've got questions.
Got a question.
I've got questions.
Okay, so it's got to do with the COVID, obviously, Rushaan, and the fact is, a lot of guys that actually started. We're talking about young entrepreneurs now, having to obviously. Wanting to apply for UIF, which is the TERS, wanting to apply for the finances. Our big problem out there, compliance. Am I correct?
Yes, what SARS has said is that if you're not compliant, you can't benefit. That is the bottom line of the benefits. And the nice thing, if you started your so, it comes back to, you need to know what compliance means, because compliance is this word that people throws around. But do you really understand what that means? And I think that, I think
I'm
that
just
you
having
really,
a laugh at compliance.
you
Sorry.
really need to know what that means for you.
Yeah.
Does that mean March is a compliance, February is a compliance, September is a compliance? If you know, then you prepare for it. But if you are just going to say, oh, this compliance, I don't understand it, and you're rejecting it all the time, how are you ever going to engage with your compliance and be compliant? Because now you're relying on someone else to remember. It's this easy thing. Just remember it and understand when you need to, when your dates are coming up. So for when it comes to this COVID story, we found ourselves in a situation where we had to bring people compliant so that they can get the benefit of whatever SARS was not SARS, the government was offering private businesses and those kind of things as well. We are happy to help you, but now that we help you, we want you to now, from now on, like stand on your own 2 feet, know what is required, instead of going into a vicious circle about, oh, I'm going non-compliant. No, oh, guys, compliancy is just like, I don't know, I need to go buy milk today because my wife phoned me. It's the same thing. It's just to do with SARS or Department of Labor or whatever,
So basically, you buy the milk on the Monday, by the Friday, the sour milk is no longer compliant to taste buds.
You need to
You just need to know these things.
Albert, Rushaan, you've opened so many things now. You've opened so many things, because now we're in the COVID time, and I want to ask you. This is a big question, right? And it will be my final question. I won't talk anymore.
Yes, we'll be done.
So this is really it. So COVID times now, starting businesses. All of a sudden, COVID happens. Now you are not registered or you're not compliant, so there's none of that governmental support. Businesses are like, what do we do now? Everybody is trying to reinvent themselves. The budding entrepreneurs trying to see gaps in the market. All of this is happening, right, at the same time. And of course, our economy is low now because we don't have the spend. Everybody's taking a pay reduction. I don't care who you are, but people, you must talk.
Yes.
Families are talking. People are saying, look, I'm getting a short time or whatever you call it, just chopped. Your pay is not compliant to your likes. Let's put it that way. So you're getting all of that. What does Rushaan Toefy Financial Services tell people right now? What do you do? And that's my final question.
Final question.
The one thing, and I know that there's a lot of people that is really struggling as a result of the COVID thing. But on the other hand, what I love that what the COVID has done was it really shook us up. It really shook entrepreneurs up in terms of becoming innovative, becoming, reinventing themselves. And if we had not been challenged in this way, and I'm not by far saying that is something that is a good thing. It's, I mean, we've lost a lot of people that lost family members and those kind of things. But in terms of businesses need to take this opportunity and just keep on going. They needed to reinvent themselves. They needed to think about their business differently. They needed to come up with different service offerings. And that is the space that entrepreneurs should always be putting themselves in. Otherwise, you become irrelevant. Otherwise, you really seriously become irrelevant. And for those people that is averse to change, partner with people that can take your hand in the journey of change, because otherwise it's going to negatively affect the going concern of your business. For those people that has come on board into entrepreneurship because they're forced out of employment, some people will go back into employment once everything normalizes, which is absolutely fine, because being in business is not for everybody, and that's no insult. But for those that loves and saying, okay, this actually, I always wanted to do this, those people, like, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. Take the learnings of this time where you needed to be resilient and bottle it and take your, and just speed up your success path and engage with people like myself, because we can also see the blind spots that you don't have, and we can also hold your hand in this journey of entrepreneurship, because we don't expect you to know everything.
I like that. Seeing, holding the hand, the blind spot. That's me, because I'm like yeah. And then, Rushaan, let me just say, let me just say, and this is really final comments and observations for the second time. Let me just say, you've just opened a whole can, because we could talk to you for another 20 million years.
Definitely.
And we wouldn't have scratched the surface really. And for budding entrepreneurs, and even in an existing business, there you have it. We've just raised some of the concerns, but of course your concerns will be more specific, and that is why you go see Rushaan Toefy Financial Services. Definitely get on his side, because they're the best in the business.
And I mean, I must say, Rushaan, that passion just shows. I mean, you can see that passion for what you're doing just showing right now. Well done.
May I say, we did call you the expert, but I will say it does not look like you know what you are doing. That's the biggest compliment I've ever given. Rushaan, before we go, is there any questions you have for Rhoda?
No, for Dougal.
No, because Rhoda knows everything. You raised packages and SARS and that and what. Yeah.
No. I think in terms of what I do and the interview, I just want to say thank you very much and giving me the opportunity to reach out to entrepreneurs. I know that sometimes people don't know where to go and those kind of things. So I do appreciate you fast-tracking the process and connecting them with somebody that could possibly assist them with their next step. So, and you guys are doing a great, I love your vibe, like I said, my first words. So may you guys go from strength to strength.
Thank you, shukran.
And you, and thank you so much. And thank you so much for your time. And keep the passion, like Rhoda alluded to, keep the passion, because we certainly need it as a people, as a country, and of course that vibe that you have. And really, I like what you say, like the blind spots, taking by the hand, because no advice is, there's nobody that doesn't have the advice. Even the top of the top, they still get advice. Because it's constant improvement. And I think that is the most important thing.
Thank you.
Rushaan Toefy from Rushaan Toefy Financial Services, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you. And you have highlighted how little I know. Thank you.
Apologies.
Thank you, Rushaan. Really appreciate it.
It is Rushaan Toefy from Rushaan Toefy Financial Services, and the most important thing is you can get in touch with him as well. So simply go to the website, Rushaan Toefy Financial Services, which is rtfs.co.za. That has got to be your destination. And you know what, Rhoda? We scratched the surface here.
We scratched the surface, Dougal.
We never got to the things I wanted to ask.
If you guys see my list of questions here,
Yo.
I think we'd have stayed here for half a day,
Yeah.
if not longer.
Yeah, because it is a thing, and I mean, it is a thing because it is. If you're an existing business, your needs are different to
Oh,
somebody
totally.
who's just got that thought,
Yeah.
and then there's SARS and all of this, and you want to do everything right. If you're going to put your heart and soul in something, don't do half measures.
Half measures, no,
you know,
yeah.
properly. Come
Yeah.
on.
Get the experts. This is exactly why
Yeah.
they're there. You know, this is what they've studied. So you entrepreneur, you want to do business, this is critical. You need to get the correct information. You need to start at, it's like building a house. The foundation needs to be right. If the foundation is not right, the walls will crack. You know, it will fall apart.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Critical. Get that critical information from our experts. That is Rushaan Toefy for you.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you got to go see them. So you get,
Yeah.
and you know what? I still like what you said. The blind spot, taking by the hand, that is what you need. And that is what we do here at Mahala.
At Mahala.
Ta-da.
That's what we do. Give you that information. Making
Yeah.
those decisions at the end of it, that's critical for you and your business and your family. Very important.
And the one thing that's highlighted is just having how important this conversation is, because I really mean this. I know a lot less now than when we started the show. I really do, because that is why you have the conversation.
That's why
is
you have the
it.
conversation.
That is
Yeah.
why you have it.
Guys,
That is it from me. I've got nothing more to add other than confusion will be the order of my day. But because of Rushaan Toefy, there's a big light at the
There's
end
a
of the
big
tunnel.
light at the end of
Yeah.
the tunnel. So don't forget, guys, subscribe, hit the bell, and go and look at some of our videos on YouTube.
Yeah, and more importantly, you share this particular one, of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
if you want to do business and with everybody else that you do. And also in that same breath, remember RTFS, Rushaan Toefy Financial Services. Definitely go check out their website and find out exactly, because they can assist you. But that is it from us here and on this edition, the 1st of March, first day of autumn. For Mahala Monday. Please, like Rhoda said, like and share this video and join us again. I have nothing else to say except for wave.